Hello, everybody. This is Dr. Steve Hoffman. I'm here with Doctors Ed Thomas and Andy Burd. And we're here to
Everybody.
tell you about an upcoming seminar. And I'm here to introduce you to two of the newest instructors in the MC2 world. And let me touch on the seminar first, and then I want to introduce you to Dr. Ed and Dr. Andy. The seminar will be May 1st and 2nd, which is a Friday and Saturday, in Dr. Ed's office. So jump up to chiropracticmastery.com, hit the seminars tab, and look for Nashville. Okay? Now, this is going to be a very different seminar for two reasons. One the same, one different, but nonetheless a different seminar. Dr. Thomas, will be teaching the MC2 portion on the first day, the portion I typically teach. And I just want you to know you're in great hands. First time I saw Ed at an MC2 program, I approached him and said, "Man, you're a natural. You could teach this." And he said, "Really?" I said, "Really?" And now's the time. So you're going to get a different perspective, but the same basic information that you would get from me, from Ed. Also, as a bonus, Ed will be adding in some tonal peds from an MC2 perspective, and you should look forward to that. This is going to be a seminar where you're really getting three programs in 2 days rather than just two. Andy came up with a new iteration of MC2, if I can call it that. Andy, correct me if I'm wrong. And I think it's an advancement. So for those of you who get to Nashville, you'll get to see what is called axis coherence, and it has to do with the neural dural axis. It has nothing to do with C2 per se. And you're going to learn more about tonal with these two gentlemen than uh, you can possibly imagine. So great seminar coming up for you guys in the very near future. Okay, that said, Ed, I want to turn it over to you real quick so that people can know who you are, where you are, how you got there. And then I want to hear more from Andy telling us about axis coherence. So, Ed, take it away.
All right. So yeah, I Life grad, 1997 grad, Life University. Been in practice in Nashville the whole time since 1998, 28 years now. And about 24 of those years I have been using MC2 as my primary analysis technique. I came across it on a referral from a friend of mine, Dr. Gary Barker, who was practicing just up the street or just up the road here in Nashville. And it absolutely clicked that first time that Gary showed it to me. And like I said, it has been my primary technique ever since. When I saw Steve at that seminar and he said that I could teach this, I never even crossed my mind that would be something that I can do. So when he did mention that to me, I've gone and done a couple of co-teaching, if you will. I took an hour or two at a seminar here and there with Steve, and I've really enjoyed it. So I am very much looking forward to presenting the whole day and giving you the MC2 knowledge, throwing in some peds as well. I have pretty much a family wellness practice. Take care of a lot of kids. I've got a pediatric table that I built. It's shaped like a horse, so you'll get to see that when you're here. But really looking forward to seeing you all and expanding your knowledge in MC2.
Thanks, Ed. And just as a side note, Gary Barker, a dear friend, old friend, one of the first four actually certified MC2 instructors, thinking decades ago at this point. So kudos to Gary, kudos to you, Ed. And Andy, tell us what's new in axis coherence.
Well, It's kind of something that through using MC2 on my own, kind of tripped over and started to, yeah, I tripped over it enough times. I was like, I need to figure out what's going on here because, um, there are, starting out my clinic with an upper cervical specialization, traditional knee chest upper cervical, x-ray listing, pattern analysis, things like that, and also using full spine adjusting when it was necessary. And with MC2 it really gave me a way to kind of focus down and trim out full spine stuff instead of just mobilizing all these spots that seems to happen sometimes when we just use full spine adjusting. There's always this component of pelvic torsion that comes up, and through going through MC2 analysis and talking in those seminars about this neural dural subluxation, not a segmental subluxation. We're not talking about vertebral subluxation. We're talking about something far deeper and far more nervous system centered. And why do we have these lack of adaptive states, physically and neurologically? And I started noticing kind of by accident that after certain upper cervical adjustments, pelvic torsion was suddenly gone. And I was like, oh, well, why is this happening sometimes and not every time? And I started using the MC2 system to start to ask the body and ask the nervous system what's going on. So what I came up with was, the last, and I should back up a little bit. I think I hosted 3 regular MC2 tonal pediatric seminars here and then the advanced.
Yes.
And by the time the advanced came around, I had kind of dialed in some of these indicators. And I said something to Steve and to Dan Bronstein at the time. I was like, hey, I'm noticing this happens. And I've started asking for indicators and I've gotten them. And when I test it and the indicators are there, this works on everybody. And so what it's led me to is, okay, we talk about the difference between the neural dural subluxation and the effects it has on our nervous system and our tone and tension state. And we talk about, the idea that things progress eventually into joint fixation. And so what this helped me suss out was, when is pelvic torsion present due to dural meningeal torsion in the system, and when is it actually joint fixation of the
Mm.
SI joint, and is the lumbar spine ever involved? And that's what I put together here. So it's really, I was really trying to, we know that MC2 is an upper cervical, approach at its core, and it adds in, when do we adjust anything else? And what order do we adjust it in so that the brain and the nervous system feel balanced? That's what we want, is to turn on this frontal cortex, right? We want to shift out of sympathetic and into parasympathetic. These are all things that help the nervous system reach an adaptive state. Um, and, so essentially, what I have here is this addition, which to me helps kind of deepen in the upper cervical listings that we can deal with. So, we're going to kind of dip into a little bit of nuance with the upper cervical portion of it. And we're also going to talk about, what do we notice with pelvic torsion, and when do we know that we need a more joint fixation based adjustment, and when do we definitely not need that when it comes to pelvic torsion. The cool thing about this is that, in being Webster certified, I'm noticing some stuff. I should say, this approach and these indicators translate over into our Webster analysis. So times where I would traditionally say, oh, this is a Webster positive presentation, and I would go through Webster, I'm seeing that pelvic torsion component go away. And if it's not there, if those indicators aren't there, then we go through Webster. So it's a deeper understanding, I think, of knowing when and when not to address the pelvis and the lumbar spine directly.
Perfect, Andy. That's what MC2 has ever always been about. What's the least I can do to them? That will be the most I can do for them. When to start or where to start, when to stop, when to leave people alone, how to know that you've accomplished what you set out to accomplish. And for everybody watching, I think that's the jewel here for you guys, that you'll know what to do, when to do it, where to do it, why you're doing what you're doing, how it impacts the nervous system of the individual you're working with. And if you want a practice full of practice members who love what you do, and in due course that you love what you do, then I think you'll love this program. So get yourselves to Nashville, back to the site, chiropracticmastery.com, seminars tab, Nashville, coming up May 1st and May 2nd. I encourage you to attend. It's going to blow your mind.
Absolutely.
Look forward to
Thanks,
seeing
everybody.
everybody.